15 years have passed, but not a single day has made me forget. They thought they brought an 8-year-old girl into this house as a helpless servant, but they never realized they were raising the very person who would one day destroy them. I buried my childhood in this house. I buried my father's smile. And I buried my mother's embrace. I have lived with one purpose: revenge.
In the quiet of the morning, she was focused on her work, kneading dough with hands that knew no rest. She didn't hear Arjun enter. He stood by the door, watching her in the warm golden light, his gaze filled with a quiet concern. "You've been working since morning," he said softly. "Haven't you rested even once?" She paused, turning to him with a guarded expression. "My work is my responsibility," she replied. Arjun smiled, a bittersweet curve of his lips. "You always answer like that." Then he saw it as a small burn on her hand. He reached out instinctively, but she quickly pulled away. "It's nothing," she whispered. "Maybe to you," he said, his voice dropping an octave. "But not to me." Their eyes met for a heartbeat, a charged silence between them. Then the moment was shattered by the chief's daughter. "Brother, since when did you start worrying about servants?" She sneered. Arjun stood firm, his posture defensive. "She may work in this house," he replied with quiet intensity, "but that doesn't make her less human." He gave her one last gentle smile before walking away. She watched him go, her heart beating a little faster. For the first time, she felt seen. The entire mansion was beautifully decorated with flowers. Servants rushed from one corner to another, making final preparations. The girl watched in confusion. "Why is everyone so busy today?" she asked. The servant smiled excitedly. "Don't you know? Miss Sonia is returning today after many years." Before she could ask another question, a luxurious car entered through the mansion gates. Everyone gathered outside. The chief and his wife walked forward with bright smiles. The car door opened and a graceful young woman stepped out, elegantly dressed and carrying herself with confidence. "Welcome home, my daughter," the chief said, hugging her warmly. "We've waited so many years for this day," his wife added. At that moment, Arjun walked out of the mansion. Sonia's face lit up. "Arjun!" she cried, running toward him and hugging him happily. Arjun smiled politely, but he seemed slightly uncomfortable. The girl watched from a distance. For reasons she could not explain, her heart suddenly felt heavy. She lowered her eyes and quietly turned away. The chief noticed Arjun's hesitation and laughed. "Look at them." The couple finally meets again after all these years. Everyone laughed happily. The girl froze. "Couple," she whispered. The chief's wife placed her hand on Sonia's shoulder. "You were married as children. Now it's time to make that marriage official." Sonia smiled shyly, while Arjun remained silent. The girl felt as though the ground beneath her had disappeared. She quietly walked away before anyone noticed the tears filling her eyes. As she reached the garden, she whispered to herself, "Why does it hurt?" She placed her hand over her heart. For the first time in 15 years, the girl who had lived only for revenge realized that her greatest enemy was no longer the chief. It was her own heart.